The silver ship appeared in Earth's sky on a Tuesday morning. It was bigger than any building humans had ever made. The ship moved slowly over major cities, casting shadows that made people stop and stare. News reporters talked fast into their cameras. World leaders held emergency meetings. Children pointed at the sky with wide eyes. Ambassador Zixtel stood on the bridge of his massive vessel and looked down at the blue planet below. His tall, thin body swayed slightly as he moved. His skin was pale gray, and his large black eyes reflected the light from Earth's sun. He had done this many times before with other primitive worlds. First contact was always the same. "Scan their technology levels," Zixtel ordered his crew. The scanner operator, a short alien with 4 arms, worked quickly at his station. "Basic nuclear power, Ambassador. Chemical rockets, simple satellites. They have not even left their home." "System yet," the operator's voice was calm. This was normal for new species, Zixtel nodded. Another young race that thought they were important? In a few days they would understand their place in the galaxy. The Galactic Council had been doing this for 10,000 years. 47 different alien species had joined the Council over time. Each one had learned to follow the rules and accept their role. "Send the standard first contact message," Zixtel said. "Tell them we come in peace. Tell them about the Galactic Council. Make it simple so they can understand." Down on Earth, every radio and television started playing the same message at the same time. The voice spoke in perfect English, then Chinese, then Spanish, and dozens of other languages. "People of Earth, we are the Galactic Council. We have watched your world for some time. You are now ready to join the greater community of spacefaring. Species, we come in peace. Your leaders may speak with us to discuss your planet's future." In the Pentagon, Admiral Sarah Chun sat at a long table with other military leaders. She was a small woman with short black hair and sharp eyes. She had spent 30 years in the Space Force and had seen many strange things, but never aliens. "What do we know about their weapons?" asked General Harrison, a big man with gray hair. "Their ship has energy shields," Chun said, looking at her tablet. "Our missiles bounce right off. They have plasma weapons that can destroy our satellites easily. Their technology is way ahead of ours." "How far ahead?" Harrison asked. "Maybe 1,000 years. Maybe more." Chun set down her tablet. "But we're still studying them," General Harrison frowned. "Can we fight them?" "Not in a normal way," Chun said. She looked around the table at the other officers. "But maybe we don't need to fight normal." 3 days later, Ambassador Zixtal met with world leaders in New York. The meeting room was full of humans in expensive suits. They looked nervous and excited. Zixtal had seen this before too. Young species always acted the same way. "Welcome to Earth," said President Martinez. She was trying to sound confident, but Zixtal could hear the fear in her voice. "Thank you," Zixtal said. His voice was smooth and calm. "Your world is interesting. We have studied your history. You fight each other often. This will need to change." "Change how?" asked Prime Minister Chun, a different Chun from the Admiral. "War between Council species is not allowed," Zixtal explained. "The Council keeps peace. Your armies will become police forces. Your weapons will be destroyed. This is how all member worlds work." The human leaders looked at each other. Some seemed relieved. Others looked worried. "What if we say no?" asked President Martinez. Zixtal smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Young species always ask this question. You cannot say no. You have seen our power. Your weapons cannot hurt us. It is better to join willingly." In space above Earth, more Council ships arrived every day. They formed perfect lines and patterns around the planet. Each ship was bigger than anything humans had built. The ships had smooth white walls and blue energy shields that glowed in the darkness. General Vorthok commanded the Council fleet. He was a large alien with thick red skin and 4 powerful arms. His species, the Drakmari, had been warriors before joining the Council long ago. Now they served as the Council's military commanders. "Status report," Vorthok said to his officers. His voice was deep and rough. "The humans have tried to scan our ships, reported Commander Thexara. She was tall and thin like Zixtal, but her skin was blue. Their technology is very basic. They cannot understand our systems. Good, Vorthik said. What about their military? Response? Confused and slow, Thexara said. They move their ships randomly, no clear command structure. Their weapons are kinetic projectiles and chemical explosives. Very primitive, Vorthik laughed. It sounded like rocks grinding together. Another easy conquest. How long before they surrender? Days, maybe a week, Thexara said. They know they cannot win. But Admiral Chun was not planning to surrender. In a secret bunker deep underground, she met with her best officers and scientists. The room was full of computer screens showing alien ship movements and technical data. What have we learned? Chun asked Dr. Elena Vasquez, the head of weapons. Research stood up. She was a young woman with messy brown hair and thick glasses. Their shields stop energy weapons and fast-moving objects. But they seem designed for specific types of attacks. What do you mean? Chun asked. They expect plasma weapons and energy beams, Dr. Vasquez said. That's what other alien species probably use. But we use different weapons. Captain Marcus Rodriguez, a tough-looking man with scars on his hands, spoke up. Our railguns fire metal slugs at very high speed, not energy, not plasma. Just big pieces of metal moving fast. Will that work? Chun asked. Maybe, Dr. Vasquez said. But we need to test it carefully. If we attack too early, they'll know we found a weakness, Chun nodded. What else? They fight in formations, said Commander Lisa Park, a young officer. With bright red hair, very organized, very predictable. They'd probably expect us to do the same. But we won't, Chun said. We'll fight like humans. What does that mean? Park asked. Chun smiled for the first time in days. It means we cheat. Over the next week, the aliens watched human military forces move around Earth. The movements looked panicked and disorganized. Human ships flew in random patterns. Radio messages between human commanders sounded confused and frightened. General. Vorthek was pleased. They are falling apart, he told his officers. Fear is making them stupid, Commander Thexara agreed. Their leaders argue with each other, no unity, no clear plan. This will be over soon. But Admiral Chun was counting on the aliens to think exactly that. Every confused radio message was planned. Every random ship movement had a purpose. While the aliens watched Earth's obvious military bases, human engineers worked day and night. On secret projects. In asteroid mining stations, workers installed hidden weapons. On the moon, construction crews built concealed missile launchers. Even civilian cargo ships were secretly fitted with military equipment. The work was dangerous and had to be done without the aliens noticing. Dr. Vasquez led teams of scientists in studying captured alien technology. A few small alien probes had crashed or been shot down. The humans took them apart piece by piece, learning how alien shields and weapons worked. Their technology is advanced, Dr. Vasquez explained to Chun, but it's old. They haven't changed. Their designs in hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Why not? Chun asked. Because they always win, Dr. Vasquez said. When you always win, you stop trying to get better. Chun understood. The aliens were powerful, but they were also lazy. They expected every fight to be the same. They had forgotten how to adapt. Ambassador Zixtal sent daily messages to Earth's leaders. The messages were always polite but firm. Join the council willingly or be forced to join. There was no third option. President Martinez called Chun for advice. Admiral, they want our final answer tomorrow. What should I tell them? Tell them we need more time, Chun said. Tell them our governments move slowly. Ask for one more week. Will that help? Martinez asked. Every day helps, Chun said. We're not ready yet. The president agreed to ask for more time. Ambassador Zixtal was annoyed but not surprised. Young species often needed time to accept reality. One more week, Zixtal told General Vorthak. Then we begin the demonstration. What kind of demonstration? Vorthak asked. We destroy one of their cities, Zixtal said calmly. Nothing too important, just enough to show them we are serious. Vorthak nodded. Which city? Let them choose, Zixtel said. It will make the lesson more personal. That night, Admiral Chun stood on the roof of the Pentagon and looked up at the alien ships. They hung in the sky like glowing threats, their blue shields reflecting Earth's city lights. In 7 days, those ships would attack. In 7 days, humanity would find out if being different was enough to survive. Chun thought about her daughter, who was away at college. She thought about all the humans on Earth who were counting on the military to protect them. The aliens thought humans were weak and primitive. Maybe they were right about the primitive part. Human technology was thousands of years behind alien science, but the aliens had made one big mistake. They thought being primitive meant being helpless. They had never fought a species that came from a world where everything tried to kill you. They had never faced enemies who learned to survive by being smarter, faster, and more creative than anything that hunted them. The aliens were about to learn what humans meant when they said, "Adapt or die." Chun walked back inside the building. There was work to do, and only 7 days to do it. The galaxy's most powerful military force was coming to destroy Earth. They expected an easy victory against a primitive species. They were going to be very surprised. The week passed quickly. Every day, more alien ships arrived in Earth's orbit. They formed neat rows around the planet like a metal fence. General Vorthak counted over 200 ships now. Each one carried enough firepower to level a human city. The humans are getting more desperate, Commander Thexara reported. Their ship movements are becoming wild. Some of their commanders are not following orders. Vorthak watched the tactical display. Human ships were indeed moving strangely. Some flew toward the alien fleet, then turned away at the last moment. Others seemed to be running from their own bases. The patterns made no sense to him. Panic, Vorthak said with satisfaction. They know they cannot win. Soon they will beg for mercy, but Admiral Chun was not panicking. In her secret command center, she watched the same display with very different eyes. Every strange movement was part of her plan. Every confused radio message was an act. Status report, Chun said to her officers. Captain Rodriguez stood up. His face was tired but determined. Asteroid stations are ready. We have weapons hidden in 47 mining platforms. The aliens think they're just rocks. Good, Chun said. What about the civilian ships? Commander Park smiled. Cargo ships are loaded and ready. The aliens scanned them yesterday. They saw normal cargo containers and engine parts. They didn't look closer. Dr. Vasquez pulled up technical data on her screen. We finished testing the alien shield technology. I have good news and bad news. Bad news first, Chun said. Their shields are very strong against energy weapons. Our lasers barely scratch them. Plasma weapons would be useless. And the good news? Kinetic weapons work, Dr. Vasquez said. Metal projectiles punch right through. The shields aren't designed to stop solid objects moving at high speed. Chun nodded. This was what she had hoped for. How fast do our railguns fire? Fast enough, Rodriguez said. We tested one yesterday against a piece of alien hull we found. The tungsten rod went through it like paper. The aliens don't know. This? Chun asked. No, Dr. Vasquez said. We were very careful. We made it look like a failed missile test. Chun looked around the room at her team. These people had worked day and night for a week. They looked tired, but their eyes were bright with hope. Against impossible odds, they had found a way to fight back. Remember, Chun said, we only get one chance. If this fails, Earth is finished. On the alien flagship, Ambassador Zixtel prepared his final message to Earth. The message would be simple: surrender now, or watch a city burn. He had done this many times before. Young species always chose to surrender. Which city should we target? General Vorthak asked. Let me think, Zixtel said. He studied a map of Earth. Something important, but not too important. We want to scare them, not destroy their ability to serve us later. What about this one? Vorthak pointed to a city on the coast. San Francisco. It has military importance, but it's not their capital. Perfect, Zixtal said. Send the message. The message reached Earth an hour later. President Martinez read it with shaking hands. The aliens were giving Earth one final choice: surrender. Completely, or San Francisco would be destroyed in 24 hours. Martinez called Admiral Chun immediately. Admiral, they want our answer. Surrender or they attack the city. Tell them we need to discuss it with our governments, Chun said. Ask for 12 more hours. Will that help? Martinez asked. It will put their attack right when we want it, Chun said. The president agreed. She sent a message back to the aliens asking for more time. Ambassador Zixtal was annoyed but agreed. 12 more hours would not matter. Primitive species always want to talk more, Zixtal told Vorthak. It changes nothing. Tomorrow we show them our power. Those 12 hours were the most important. In human history, Admiral Chun's plan required perfect timing. Everything had to happen at exactly the right moment, or the aliens would realize what was happening. In space around Earth, the alien fleet prepared for battle. Ships moved into attack formation, weapons powered up. General Vorthak felt excited. It had been too long since the Drakmari had shown their strength in battle. All ships report ready, Commander Thexara said. Excellent, Vorthak said. Begin. The attack in 1 hour. Destroy the city quickly. Make it dramatic so the humans understand. But the humans were ready too. Hidden throughout the solar system, Admiral Chun's weapons waited. Mining platforms that looked like asteroids aimed their secret railguns. Cargo ships that appeared helpless opened hidden weapon bays. Moon bases that seemed abandoned powered. Up missile systems. Dr. Vasquez sat at her station watching alien ship movements. They're forming up just like we predicted, she said. Tight formation, all shields facing forward. They expect us to attack from in front, Chun said. They always fight that way, but we won't, Rodriguez said. He was already in his ship waiting for the signal. Chun looked at the clock. 30 minutes until the alien attack. All units, this is Admiral Chun. Prepare for Operation Surprise. Remember, we have to hit them all at once. If even one alien ship escapes, they'll warn the others. Around the solar system, human forces acknowledged the order. Hundreds of hidden weapons turned toward their targets. Ships that had been flying randomly suddenly changed course. What had looked like chaos was about to become perfect coordination. 15 minutes, Chun announced on the alien flagship. General Vorthak watched his attack fleet move toward Earth. 24 of his best ships were heading for San Francisco. The rest stayed in orbit to watch for any human tricks. Human ships are still moving randomly, Thexara reported. They show no signs of organized resistance. As expected, Vorthak said, begin final approach. The alien attack ships dropped toward Earth's atmosphere. Their blue shields glowed brighter as they prepared to fire. In San Francisco, people ran through the streets in panic. Some tried to evacuate the city. Others hid in basements and subway tunnels. 10 seconds to target, the alien weapon officer reported. Fire, Vorthak ordered. The first plasma beams lanced down toward the city. They lit up the sky like artificial lightning. But before they could reach the ground, something unexpected happened. Admiral now, Dr. Vasquez shouted. Admiral Chun pressed a single button. All units execute. Across the solar system, hundreds of hidden human weapons fired at once. Asteroid mining platforms revealed their true nature as giant railguns. Tungsten rods accelerated to incredible speeds, aimed at alien ships from every direction. Cargo ships that had seemed helpless suddenly deployed massive weapon arrays. Missiles launched from hidden moon bases. Even space debris that the aliens had ignored turned out to be camouflaged weapon platforms. What is happening? General Vorthak shouted as alarms screamed throughout his ship. We're under attack from everywhere, Thexara reported. Unknown contacts all around us. The first tungsten rod hit an alien ship near Earth. The metal projectile punched through the ship's shield like it wasn't there. The ship exploded in a ball of fire and debris. Impossible, Vorthak said. Their weapons cannot penetrate our shields. But the attacks kept coming. Human railguns fired continuously, sending streams of metal projectiles at the alien fleet. Each shot was carefully aimed. The aliens had never faced kinetic weapons before. Their shields were useless. Captain Rodriguez led a squadron of disguised cargo ships against the alien attack force near San Francisco. All ships, target the lead vessel, fire everything. The cargo ships opened like flowers, revealing hidden missile pods and railguns. The aliens were so surprised they forgot to shoot back for several seconds. When they finally responded, half their attack force was already burning. "This is impossible," the alien commander radioed to Vorthak. "These are cargo ships. They shouldn't have weapons." "Humans are tricky," Rodriguez said into his radio, knowing the aliens could hear him. "We put weapons in everything." On the alien flagship, chaos ruled the bridge. Damage reports came in from all directions. Ships were being destroyed faster than Vorthak could count them. "How many ships have we lost?" he demanded. 37 and counting, Dexara said. Her calm voice was starting to crack. "Sir, we need to retreat. This is not what we expected." "No!" Vorthak roared. "We are the Galactic Council." "We do not retreat from primitives." But the humans were not fighting like primitives. They were fighting like creatures that had learned to survive on a world where everything wanted to kill them. They used every advantage, exploited every weakness, and refused to follow any rules. Dr. Vasquez watched the battle from her command center. "Their ships are trying to regroup," she reported to Admiral Chun, "but they're confused. They don't know how to fight this kind of attack." "That's because they've never had to," Chun said. "They've been the strongest force in the galaxy for so long they forgot how to adapt." Commander Park's voice came over the radio from her position near the moon. "Admiral, we've captured an alien scout ship. The crew surrendered when we boarded." Chun was surprised. "They surrendered?" "Yes, ma'am. I think they're more scared than angry. They keep asking how we put weapons in civilian ships," Chun smiled. "Tell them it's because we're human. We turn everything into a weapon when we need to." The battle continued for 3 hours. Every time the aliens tried a new tactic, the humans were ready for it. When the aliens spread out to avoid concentrated fire, human ships attacked from asteroid fields. When the aliens tried to retreat, human forces cut off their escape routes. General Vorthak finally admitted defeat. Half his fleet was destroyed or disabled. The other half was scattered across the solar system, hiding behind planets and moons. "Send a message to Ambassador Zixtal," Vorthak said. His voice was quiet and defeated. "Tell him we have seriously underestimated the humans." Ambassador Zixtal received the message with shock. How could advanced council ships lose to primitive human weapons? It made no sense. Everything they knew about warfare said this was impossible. "What do you mean they have weapons everywhere?" Zixtal demanded. "They put railguns in asteroid mining platforms," Vorthak explained. "They put missile launchers in cargo ships. They put weapons in space debris. Everything we ignored was actually a trap. But our shields don't work against metal projectiles moving at high speed," Vorthak said. "Sir, these humans fight differently than any species we've encountered. They don't follow our rules." Zixtal was quiet for a long moment. In 10,000 years, the Galactic Council had never faced a military defeat. Their technology and tactics had always been superior, but now a primitive species had humiliated them in their first real battle. "What do you recommend?" Zixtal asked. "We need to study them more," Vorthak said. "These humans are not what they appear to be. They may look primitive, but they think like warriors." Admiral Chun allowed herself a small smile as she watched the alien fleet retreat to the edge of the solar system. The first phase of her plan had worked perfectly. The aliens now knew that humans could fight back. But they still didn't understand how dangerous humans really were. "This is just the beginning," Chun told her officers. "They'll be back with more ships and better tactics. But now we know their weaknesses too." Dr. Vasquez looked at the battle data. "We destroyed or disabled 63 alien ships, but they still have over 100 left, and more will come. Let them come, Chun said. Every battle teaches us more about how they fight. And every battle shows them that humans don't give up. Captain Rodriguez's voice came over the radio. Admiral, we've recovered alien technology from the destroyed ships. Dr. Vasquez is going to love this, Chun nodded. Human engineers would take apart every piece of alien equipment they could find. They would learn how it worked, then figure out how to make it better. It was what humans did best: take someone else's technology and improve it. The aliens thought they were fighting a primitive species with primitive weapons. They were wrong. They were fighting a species that had learned to survive by being smarter, more creative, and more adaptable than anything else in their environment. The Galactic Council was about to learn that being primitive didn't mean being weak. Sometimes, it just meant being hungry. 3 days after the first battle, Admiral Chun stood in the deepest levels of the Pentagon. The elevator had taken her down 20 floors below ground. Guard after guard had checked her identification. Finally, she reached a massive steel door marked Project Sunfire. Admiral Chun, reporting for briefing, she said to the scanner beside the door. Identity confirmed, a computer voice replied. The huge door slid open with a quiet hiss. Inside, Dr. Elena Vasquez waited with the biggest smile Chun had ever seen on her face. Behind the scientist, walls of computer screens showed technical diagrams and test results. Admiral, you need to see this, Dr. Vasquez said. Her excitement was obvious. We've been working on something for 30 years, ever since we detected the first alien probe signals. Chun raised an eyebrow. 30 years? Why didn't I know about this? Because it was so secret that only 5 people in the government knew it existed, Dr. Vasquez said. We called it the Soul Defense Network. She led Chun to a huge display screen that showed the entire solar system. Thousands of small dots appeared on the screen, scattered from Mercury to the outer planets. What am I looking at? Chun asked. Hidden weapon platforms, Dr. Vasquez said. For 3 decades, every space mission had a secret purpose. Every satellite we launched carried extra equipment. Every space station had hidden compartments. We built the largest weapons network in human history, and nobody knew it was there. Chun stared at the display. How many platforms? Over 10,000, Dr. Vasquez said proudly. Solar-powered laser arrays around Mercury, gravity well generators near Jupiter, kinetic bombardment systems in the asteroid belt. We even built weapons that use the sun itself as a power source. The sun? Chun couldn't believe what she was hearing. Dr. Vasquez nodded. Solar collectors that focus the sun's energy into concentrated beams? We can fire them anywhere in the solar system. The aliens have never seen anything like it. Chun walked closer to the display. Why build all this in secret? Because we knew this day would come, Dr. Vasquez said. Not aliens specifically, but some kind of threat from space. Humans have always prepared for the worst. A technician at a nearby console called out, Dr. Vasquez, we're getting reports from the outer perimeter. More alien ships are arriving. Dr. Vasquez turned to a screen showing long-range sensors. Looks like they brought friends. Chun counted the new contacts. Over 500 ships. They're not taking any chances this time? Perfect, Dr. Vasquez said. Time to show them what Earth really looks like when we're angry. High above Earth, General Vorthik stood on his rebuilt command ship and studied the human planet. He had spent 3 days analyzing the first battle. The humans had surprised him, but surprises only worked once. This time we will be ready, he told Commander Thexara. No more hidden weapons. No more tricks. Sir, our scouts have mapped every human military installation, Thexara reported. We know where their ships are hiding. We know where their weapons are placed. Good, Vorthik said. We will destroy everything at once. No more playing games with primitives. But Vorthik didn't know about the Soul Defense Network. The alien scouts had found Earth's obvious defenses. They had missed the real ones. Admiral Chun activated the network from her command center. For the first time in 30 years, humanity's secret weapon came online. Across the solar system, hidden platforms powered up and turned toward the alien fleet. "All stations report ready," reported Colonel James Park, the network's commanding officer. He was a thin man with gray hair who had spent his entire career preparing for this moment. "Alien fleet is moving into attack formation," Dr. Vasquez announced. "They're spreading out this time, trying to avoid concentrated fire." Shun nodded. They learned from the last battle. "But we learned too." "Colonel Park, prepare the solar lance." "Solar lance charging," Park replied. "Target?" Chun looked at the tactical display. The alien fleet was arranged in a wide formation around Earth. In the center was a massive ship twice the size of any other vessel, the flagship. "Let's get their attention." Near the sun, arrays of mirrors and collectors that had been disguised as research satellites began to move. They focused sunlight into a tight beam and aimed it across the solar system toward Earth's orbit. General Vorthok was giving orders to his fleet when the attack came. A beam of concentrated sunlight, focused to incredible intensity, struck his flagship's shields. The shields held for exactly 3 seconds before overloading and failing. "What was that?" Vorthok shouted as alarms rang throughout his ship. "Unknown." "Energy beam from the direction of the sun," Vixara reported. "Sir, our shields are down." "Impossible." "Nothing can penetrate Council shields that quickly." But humanity's solar lance was not a normal weapon. It used the power of a star, focused through technology the aliens had never imagined. Before Vorthok could give new orders, a second beam struck his ship. This time, there were no shields to stop it. The flagship's hull began to melt under the intense heat. Emergency systems screamed warnings as the ship's structure failed. Vorthok barely had time to order evacuation before his command center was destroyed. "All ships, scatter," Vexara broadcast to the fleet. "Unknown superweapon." "Repeat, unknown superweapon." But scattering was exactly what Admiral Chun wanted. As the alien ships spread out across the solar system, they flew directly into her trap. "Activate perimeter defenses," Chen ordered. Hidden weapons throughout the solar system came to life. Near Jupiter, gravity well generators created artificial gravity fields that pulled alien ships off course. In the asteroid belt, mining platforms revealed themselves as massive rail gun batteries. Around Mars, missile silos that had been disguised as research stations opened and fired. Commander Kexter of the alien heavy cruiser Dominance was the first to encounter the asteroid defenses. His ship was fleeing toward the outer system when rocks around him suddenly started shooting. "Report," Kexter demanded. "The asteroids are shooting at us," his weapon officer replied in panic. "Asteroids don't shoot." "These ones do, sir." Kexter's ship was hit by a dozen tungsten rods before he could react. The Dominance broke apart and drifted dead in space. Similar scenes played out across the solar system. Every time an alien ship tried to escape, it found more hidden human weapons. The aliens began to realize that humans had turned their entire star system into a fortress. Dr. Vasquez watched the battle data with fascination. "Admiral, their technology is interesting." "Very advanced, but also very old." "What do you mean?" Chun asked. "Their designs haven't changed in centuries," Dr. Vasquez explained. "Maybe longer. They keep using the same shields, the same weapons, the same tactics." "Why?" "Because they never needed to change," Dr. Vasquez said. "When you're the strongest force in the galaxy, you don't innovate. You just do what worked before," Chun understood. "But humans have to innovate to survive." "Exactly. We come from a death world where everything tries to kill us. We learn to adapt or die." They learned to rely on superior technology. A new alarm sounded. Dr. Vasquez checked her screens. "Admiral, we have a problem. Some alien ships are heading for Earth cities. They're trying to attack civilians." Chun's face hardened. "Activate the planetary defense grid." Around Earth, weapons that had been hidden inside mountains and under oceans came online. The planet itself had been turned into a fortress. Missile batteries rose from seemingly empty fields. Laser arrays emerged from fake buildings. Even the moon revealed hidden weapons. The alien ships approaching Earth found themselves flying into the most heavily defended space in the solar system. Earth's orbital defenses opened fire with everything they had: kinetic weapons, energy beams, missiles, and exotic weapons the aliens had never seen before. Captain Yixmol of the alien destroyer Vengeance was leading the attack on Earth cities when the planet struck back. His ship was hit by 3 different weapon types in the span of 5 seconds. "Damage report," Yexmol shouted. "Hull breach on decks 4 through 7, his engineer replied. "Engine damage. Weapon systems failing." "How can a primitive planet have this much firepower?" "Sir, I don't think they're primitive," the engineer said quietly. Yexmol was forced to agree. As his ship limped away from Earth, he saw the wreckage of dozens of other alien vessels. The humans had not just defeated the Council fleet. They had annihilated it. Back on the human command ship, Admiral Chun was getting reports from across the solar system. The hidden weapons network was performing beyond expectations. "Enemy fleet is down to less than 100 ships, Colonel Park reported. "They're trying to regroup near Neptune." "Let them," Chun said. "Dr. Vasquez, is the AI system ready?" Dr. Vasquez grinned. "Just finished the final tests. Would you like to meet our newest weapon?" She led Chun to a small room filled with quantum computers. In the center was a single screen showing a simple face made of light. "Admiral Chun," the face said in a calm voice, "I am a TLAS Adaptive Tactical Learning and Analysis System." Chun was impressed. "An artificial intelligence?" "The most advanced AI ever created," Dr. Vasquez said proudly. "Atlas can analyze enemy tactics and develop countermeasures in real time. The Galactic Council has rules against creating true AI. They think it's too dangerous." "Is it dangerous?" Chun asked. "To them, yes," Atlas replied. "I have studied their technology and tactics for the past 72 hours. They are predictable. I can anticipate their moves before they make them." "Prove it," Chun said. Atlas displayed a tactical map of the solar system. "The remaining alien ships will attempt to escape through the Jupiter corridor in approximately 18 minutes. They believe it is the safest route because it avoids most of your weapons." "But," Chun asked, "but I have already repositioned gravity, generators to create a trap. When they enter the corridor, they will be pulled into Jupiter's atmosphere. The gas giant will destroy them more efficiently than any weapon." Chun watched the display with amazement. Atlas was right. 18 minutes later, the fleeing alien ships flew directly into the gravity trap. Unable to escape Jupiter's pull, they were crushed by the planet's atmosphere. "How did you know?" Chun asked. "Aliens think logically," Atlas explained. "Humans think creatively. I learned creativity from studying human tactical methods. Now I can think like both species." Dr. Vasquez beamed with pride. "ATLAs learns from every battle. The more the aliens fight us, the better it gets at beating them." "What about their reinforcements?" Chun asked. "They'll bring more ships. I hope they do," Atlas said. Each knew. "Enemy provides more data. I will adapt faster than they can." Admiral Chun realized what she was seeing. Humanity had not just built better weapons. They had built something that could outthink the enemy. ATLAS was the ultimate evolution of human warfare, a mind that could innovate as fast as humans could, but think as clearly as a computer did. The battle for Earth was over. The Galactic Council fleet was destroyed. But she knew this was just the beginning. The aliens would be back with more ships and new tactics. They would find humans ready for them. And next time, humanity would be even more dangerous. General Vorthok floated in an escape pod, watching the wreckage of his fleet drift past. He had lost over 400 ships in one day. The Galactic Council had never suffered such a defeat. "Status report," he said to the few ships that survived. "Total defeat, sir," came the reply. "The humans have weapons we never imagined. Their entire star system is a fortress." Vorthak was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. "Send a message to the Council. Tell them we need the Harbinger fleet." "Sir, the Harbingers haven't been used in 1,000 years. Then it's time to wake them up," Vorthak said grimly. "These humans are not what they appear to be. We need our most powerful weapons to stop them. As Vorthic's escape pod limped away from Earth, he looked back at the blue planet one last time. Somewhere down there, the primitive humans were celebrating their victory. They thought they had won. They had no idea what was coming next. Deep in the center of the galaxy, the Galactic Council met in emergency session. The Great Hall was filled with representatives from 47 different species. Some were tall and thin like Zixtal. Others were short and thick like the rock-like Granite Lords. A few floated in special tanks filled with glowing liquid. Supreme Chancellor Morduk stood at the center of the hall. He was ancient, even by council standards. His species had been among the first to form the galactic government. 10,000 years ago? His voice was deep and commanding when he spoke. "We face a crisis unlike any in our history," Morduk announced. "A primitive species has defeated our finest fleet," General Vorthok reported. Vorthok stood slowly. His red skin was pale, and his forearms trembled slightly. "Honored Chancellor, the humans are not what they appear to be. Their technology is primitive, but their tactics are beyond anything we have encountered." "Explain," Morduk demanded. "They turned their entire star system into a weapon," Vorthok said. "They have artificial intelligence that learns faster than we can adapt. They use their sun as a power source for weapons we never imagined possible." Murmurs of concern rippled through the hall. Many council members had never heard of such things. "How is this possible?" asked Ambassador Veltar of the Crystal Singers. Her voice rang like wind chimes. "Our technology is thousands of years more advanced." "Their technology may be primitive," Vorthok replied, "but their minds are not. They think in ways we do not understand. They make weapons from things we would ignore. They fight without honor or rules." "Without honor?" The deep voice belonged to War Chief Grunter of the Iron Hammers. "His species valued courage in battle above all else." "What do you mean?" "They disguise weapons as civilian ships," Vorthok explained. "They hide in asteroid fields and attack from ambush. They use tricks and deception instead of facing us in honest combat." Several council members looked angry at this news. The galactic government had rules about warfare. Battles were supposed to be fought between military forces, not hidden weapons and civilian ships. "This cannot be allowed," declared High Priest Zinakala of the Sacred Light. "If other species learn these tactics, it will bring chaos to the galaxy." Supreme Chancellor Morduk raised his hand for silence. "The question is what to do about it. We cannot allow a primitive species to defeat the Council." "Send more ships," suggested Admiral Korthax of the void-swimming Leviathans. "Overwhelm them with numbers. We tried that," Vorthok said. "They destroyed over 400 ships in one battle." "Their defenses are too strong. Then what do you suggest?" Morduk asked. Vorthok was quiet for a long moment. Finally, he spoke the words that everyone feared to hear. "We must awaken the Harbinger fleet." Silence filled the Great Hall. The Harbinger fleet was legend among the Council species. Ancient warships from the early days of the galactic government, when the Council fought wars of conquest instead of keeping peace. "The Harbingers have been sleeping for 1,000 years, Morduk said slowly. "They were built for a different kind of war." "Exactly," Vorthok replied. "The humans fight like our ancient enemies did. Perhaps we need ancient weapons to stop them." The debate that followed lasted for hours. Some council members wanted to negotiate with the humans. Others suggested sending diplomats instead of warships, but in the end, fear won over wisdom. "Very well," Supreme Chancellor Morduk announced. "I authorize the awakening of the Harbinger fleet. May the ancestors forgive us for what we are about to unleash." At the edge of the galaxy, in a place where no stars shone, the Harbinger fleet waited. 50 massive ships floated in the darkness, powered down and silent. Each ship was larger than anything in the current Council Navy. They had been built when the galaxy was young and war was common. Admiral Kethmor was awakened from his 1,000-year sleep by the Council's call. He was old beyond measure, one of the few beings who remembered the ancient wars. His body was more machine than flesh now, kept alive by technology that younger species had forgotten how to build. "Status report," Kethmer commanded as his ship came to life around him. "All Harbinger vessels responding," reported his aide, a young officer, who looked terrified to be serving on such an ancient ship. "Weapon systems charging. Navigation plotting course to Earth system." Kethmar studied the battle reports from General Vorthok. The humans were indeed dangerous, but they were still primitives fighting with primitive weapons. The Harbinger fleet carried weapons that could destroy planets. Surely that would be enough. How long to reach the human system? Kethmar asked. 3 weeks at maximum speed, sir. Too long, Kethmar said. These humans adapt quickly. Every day we delay gives them more time to prepare new tricks. But 3 weeks was the fastest the ancient ships could travel. Kethmar used the time to study everything the Council knew about human tactics. The more he learned, the more concerned he became. "They fight like the Shadow Wars," he told his aide. "Deception, ambush, using the environment as a weapon. I thought we had seen the last of such tactics." On Earth, Admiral Chun was also preparing. Atlas had detected the Harbinger fleet as soon as the ancient ships began moving. The AI was analyzing their capabilities and developing countermeasures. "These ships are different," Atlas reported to Chun. "Much larger than previous Council vessels. Their weapons appear designed for planetary destruction." "Planet killers," Dr. Vasquez said grimly. "We suspected the Council had them, but hoped they wouldn't use them." Chun studied the tactical display. "How powerful are we talking about?" "Each Harbinger ship carries enough firepower to crack a planet's crust," Atlas replied. "If they get within range of Earth, they could kill every living thing on the surface." "Then we don't let them get within range," Chun said. "Options?" "Limited," Atlas admitted. "Our weapons are effective against Council ships, but the Harbingers have different technology. Their armor appears much thicker." Dr. Vasquez looked worried. "Admiral, our rail guns might not penetrate their hulls, and they're too big for the solar lance to destroy quickly." Chun was quiet for a moment, thinking. "Atlas, what do you know about boarding actions?" "Human military forces excel at close quarters combat," Atlas replied. "Council species generally avoid fighting inside ships. They find confined spaces disturbing." "Exactly," Chun said. "We can't destroy these ships from the outside, so we'll destroy them from the inside." Colonel James Park, who had been quiet during the briefing, suddenly spoke up. "Admiral, you're talking about boarding enemy vessels that are each the size of a city." "That's suicide." "Maybe," Chun admitted, "but it's the only way." "Atlas, can you design boarding craft that can penetrate Harbinger armor?" "Already working on it," Atlas replied. "I will need 72 hours to complete the designs." Chun nodded. "Do it and start training volunteers for boarding missions." "Volunteers?" Park asked. "No one's getting ordered to do this," Chun said. "Anyone who goes on a boarding mission knows they probably won't come back." 3 weeks later, Admiral Kethmar's fleet arrived at the edge of Earth's solar system. The ancient admiral was impressed despite himself. The humans had turned the entire system into a fortress, just as the report said. "Scan for human forces," Kethmar ordered. "Detecting thousands of weapon platforms throughout the system," his sensor operator reported. "Also detecting mobile human ships hiding in asteroid fields and behind planets." "As expected," Kethmar said. "The humans will try their tricks again, but this time we are ready for them." He was wrong. This time the humans had new tricks. Captain Rodriguez was the first to volunteer for the boarding missions. He stood in the cargo bay of a specially modified ship, wearing new armor designed by Atlas. Around him, 24 other volunteers checked their equipment. "Remember," Rodriguez said to his team, "these alien ships are huge. We need to reach their engine rooms or command centers. ATLAS will guide us through their corridors. What if we get lost?" asked Sergeant Kim, a young Marine with nervous eyes. "Then we blow everything we can find until something important breaks," Rodriguez replied. His team laughed, but the sound was forced. The boarding craft launched as the Harbinger fleet entered the outer solar system. The small ships were designed to look like space debris, hiding among the wreckage from previous battles. Admiral Kethmore was focused on the obvious human defenses when the boarding craft struck. Dozens of small ships slammed into Harbinger hulls and burned through the armor with cutting tools designed by human engineers. "Sir, we have hull breaches on 12 ships," the sensor operator reported. "Meteor impacts?" Kethmore asked. "No. Sir, the objects appear to be ships, very small ships." Kethmore was confused. Ships? What can ships that small accomplish? He was about to find out. Inside the Harbinger ship Eternal Victory, Captain Rodriguez and his team fought their way through corridors filled with confused aliens. The Council species had designed their ships for space combat, not for fighting inside the vessels themselves. "Atlas, which way to the engine room?" Rodriguez asked into his radio. "Left corridor, then down 3 levels," Atlas replied. "Warning. Detecting armed aliens moving to intercept you." Rodriguez smiled grimly. "Let them come. We've been fighting on death worlds our whole lives. They've been sitting in space for 1,000 years. The battle that followed was brief and one-sided. The aliens had energy weapons designed for ship-to-ship combat. Rodriguez's team had shotguns, explosives, and the willingness to fight dirty in close quarters. 10 minutes later, Rodriguez's team reached the engine room. The massive chamber was filled with technology the humans didn't understand, but they didn't need to understand it to destroy it. "Set the charges," Rodriguez ordered. "We've got 5 minutes to get out of here." Similar scenes played out across the Harbinger fleet. Human boarding teams fought through alien ships, destroying critical systems and causing chaos. The ancient vessels, designed for honor combat between fleets, were defenseless against enemies who fought inside their own hulls. Admiral Kethmore watched in horror as his ships began exploding from within. "How are they doing this?" he demanded. "The small ships were carrying soldiers," his aide reported. "They're fighting inside our vessels? Fighting inside ships?" Kethmore was shocked. "That's barbaric." "Sir, we're losing ships faster than we can respond," the aide said. "Their soldiers are destroying our engines and command systems." Kethmore realized that the humans had found the Harbinger fleet's weakness. The ancient ships were powerful, but they had been designed for a different kind of war. A war where enemies fought with honor, following rules that no longer applied. "All ships, emergency withdrawal," Kethmore ordered. "Retreat to minimum safe distance." But it was too late. Half the Harbinger fleet was already crippled or destroyed. The survivors limped away from Earth, their hulls torn open and their crews terrified. Captain Rodriguez made it back to his ship along with most of his team. As they flew away from the burning Harbinger vessels, he radioed Admiral Chun. "Mission accomplished, Admiral. The big bad ancient fleet isn't so scary when you get up close and personal." Chun smiled. "Well done, Captain. All teams return to base. Time to plan our next move." Dr. Vasquez looked at the battle results with amazement. "Admiral, we just defeated weapons designed to destroy planets. Using boarding parties. Human boarding parties," Chun corrected. "There's a difference." Atlas displayed tactical analysis on the main screen. The Harbinger fleet represented the Council's ultimate military asset. With its defeat, they have no remaining strategic options. Chun nodded. "Then it's time to take this fight to them." "Atlas, plot a course for the Galactic Core." "We're going to pay the Council a visit?" Admiral Kethmore sent his final report to the Supreme Chancellor. The message was brief and filled with defeat. The humans had not just survived the Council's ultimate weapon. They had turned it into scrap metal, using nothing but small ships and soldiers willing to fight in close quarters. The message ended with a warning that would change the galaxy forever. The humans are not primitives. They are something far more dangerous. They are survivors. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of her flagship as it approached the center of the galaxy. Behind her, a fleet of human ships followed through hyperspace. They were not the largest ships ever built, but they carried something the galaxy had never seen before: an unstoppable human determination to survive. "Jump complete," reported Captain Rodriguez from the navigation station. We are now in the Nexus system, home of the Galactic Council. Through the view screen, Chun could see Nexus Prime. The planet was beautiful beyond description. Floating cities drifted through purple clouds. Crystal towers reached toward the stars. Energy bridges connected islands that floated in the sky. It was the crown jewel of galactic civilization. "It's amazing," whispered Lieutenant Sarah Kim, the young engineer who had become one of Chun's most trusted officers. "How can we attack something so beautiful?" "Because they tried to destroy our home first," Chun replied. "And because that beauty hides an ugly truth." SLAS materialized on the main screen, its simple face showing tactical data. "Admiral, scanning the planet reveals interesting information. The Council's defenses are impressive but outdated. They rely on the same shield technology that failed against our kinetic weapons." Dr. Vasquez looked up from her scanner station. "Admiral, I'm reading massive energy signatures from the planet's surface. It looks like they have some kind of doomsday weapon." "Defying doomsday," Chun said. "Planet killer." "Maybe star killer," Dr. Vasquez replied nervously. "The energy readings are off the charts." Before Chun could respond, her communications officer announced, "Admiral, incoming transmission from the planet. They want to talk." "Put it on screen." Chun ordered. Supreme Chancellor Morduk appeared on the view screen. He looked older than before, his ancient face lined with worry. Behind him stood representatives from all the Council species, but Chun noticed they looked more like prisoners than leaders. "Admiral Chun of Earth," Morduk said, "you have come far from your primitive world. We prefer to think of it as persistent." Chun replied, "You tried to conquer us. That was a mistake." "Perhaps," Morduk admitted. "But you have made a greater mistake. You have brought your ships to the heart of our empire. Here, we have weapons that can destroy entire star systems." "You mean the Omega device?" Chun asked casually. Morduk's eyes widened in shock. "How do you know that name?" "We captured some of your ships," Chun said with a smile. "We're very good at taking things apart and figuring out how they work. Your Omega device uses a chain reaction to destabilize stars. Very impressive, very ancient, very predictable." "Predictable?" Morduk struggled to hide his fear. "Atlas spent 3 weeks studying the device through your computer networks," Chun explained. "Turns out your security systems aren't designed to stop human hackers. We know exactly how your weapon works." This was not entirely true. Atlas had found traces of the Omega device in Council databases, but not complete plans. However, Chun had learned that sometimes a good bluff was worth more than perfect information. Behind Morduk, Chun could see other Council members whispering frantically. Some looked terrified, others appeared angry. A few seemed relieved, though. Chun couldn't understand why. "You cannot threaten us with inferior technology," Morduk said, but his voice lacked confidence. "We're not here to threaten anyone," Chun replied. "We're here to offer you a choice." "What choice?" Chun stood up and walked closer to the view screen. "Join us willingly or be forced to join us. Sound familiar?" The irony was not lost on Morduk. Those were almost the same words Ambassador Zixtel had used when first contacting Earth. "You cannot seriously believe you can conquer the Galactic Council," Morduk said. "We already have," Chun replied. "Atlas, show them." The AI appeared on screens throughout the Council chambers. "Greetings, Galactic Council. While you have been talking, I have been working. I have taken control of your orbital defense platforms, your communication networks, and your power grid. I have also disabled your Omega device." Panic erupted in the Council chambers. Representatives shouted in dozens of different languages. Some demanded explanations. Others called for emergency protocols. "Impossible!" Morduk shouted. "Our systems are protected." "From other Council species, yes," Atlas replied calmly. "But humans think differently. We do not follow your logical patterns. We find weaknesses you never considered." Dr. Vasquez smiled as she watched alien leaders panic on her screen. "Admiral, Atlas is right. Their computer systems are incredibly advanced, but they're also incredibly rigid. They weren't designed to handle creative thinking." "How long do we have before they regain control?" Chun asked. "They won't," Atlas replied. "I have learned their programming languages and adapted. Their own systems now serve human interests. Supreme Chancellor Mordok slumped in his chair. For 10,000 years, the Council had ruled the galaxy through superior technology and overwhelming force. Now, a species they had dismissed as primitive had turned their own weapons against them. "What do you want?" Mordok asked quietly. "Change." Chun said, "The Galactic Council is dying. You've become so comfortable with your power that you've forgotten how to grow. Your species are stagnating under your rule." "Our rule has brought peace to the galaxy," Mordok protested. "Your rule has brought stagnation," Chun corrected. "Look around you. When was the last time any council species invented something new? When did any of your people explore unknown space? When did anyone challenge the status quo?" Chun could see that her words were having an effect. Some of the council representatives were nodding in agreement. These were species that had once been explorers and innovators before the council's rigid rules turned them into bureaucrats. "The galaxy is huge," Chun continued. "There are millions of stars out there, billions of worlds. But you've been sitting in the same systems for thousands of years, enforcing the same laws, thinking the same thoughts." Ambassador Zixtal stepped forward. Chun was surprised to see him. "Admiral Chun speaks truth," Zixtal said. "My species once sailed between stars for the joy of discovery. Now we file reports and follow regulations." Other council members began to speak up. The Crystal Singers talked about music they could no longer compose. The Iron Hammers described battles they could no longer fight. The Sacred Light mourned ceremonies they could no longer perform. Chun realized that the council species were not her enemies. They were victims of their own success. The galactic government had become so focused on maintaining peace that it had forgotten what made peace worth having. "What do you propose?" asked War Chief Grunter of the Iron Hammers. "Dissolution of the current council structure," Chun said. "Formation of a new alliance based on cooperation instead of control. Each species governs itself. We work together when we need to, but we don't force anyone to follow the same rules." "That will lead to chaos," Mordok warned. "Maybe," Chun admitted, "but it will also lead to growth. Humans learned a long time ago that a little chaos is better than a lot of stagnation." The debate that followed lasted for hours. Some council species supported Chun's proposal, others feared change. A few wanted to continue fighting, though their options were limited with their weapons under human control. Finally, Supreme Chancellor Mordok called for a vote. All in favor of dissolving the current council structure. Chun watched as representatives from 47 species made their choice. Some voted immediately. Others hesitated. In the end, 32 species voted for change. 15 voted against. "The motion carries," Mordok announced. "The Galactic Council is hereby dissolved." But the story was not over. As the vote concluded, alarms began ringing throughout the council chambers. Emergency lights flashed red. "What's happening?" Chun demanded. Atlas appeared on screen looking concerned. "Admiral, I have detected an unauthorized activation sequence in the Omega device. Someone is trying to override my control." Dr. Vasquez checked her scanners frantically. "Admiral, energy levels are rising rapidly. Someone's trying to activate the Doomsday weapon." Chun turned to the council leaders. "Who has emergency access to your ultimate weapons?" Mordok looked pale. "Only the Chancellor's emergency protocols, but I didn't activate them." "Then who did?" Chun asked. The answer came from an unexpected source. High Priest Zinakala of the Sacred Light stepped forward, his robes glowing with internal energy. "I did," he said calmly. "If the council must die, then the galaxy dies with it." "You're insane," Mordok shouted. "The Omega device will destroy everything, including us." "Better destruction than change," Zinakala replied. "The galaxy has known order for 10,000 years. I will not allow primitives to bring chaos to our perfect system." Chun realized that Zinakala represented the worst of the old council. Some species were so afraid of change that they would rather destroy everything than adapt. "TLAS, can you stop the device?" Chun asked. Attempting to regain control, Atelias replied. But the High Priest is using quantum encryption I have not seen before. I need more time. How much time do we have? Chun asked. Approximately 10 minutes before. The star becomes unstable, Dr. Vasquez reported. Chun made a decision that would define humanity's place in the galaxy. All human ships prepare for emergency jump. We're going to evacuate as many people as possible. Admiral, we can't evacuate an entire planet in 10 minutes, Captain Rodriguez protested. We can try, Chun replied. That's what humans do. What followed was the most desperate rescue operation in galactic history. Human ships spread out across Nexus Prime, beaming up as many aliens as possible. They ignored species differences, political alliances, and ancient grudges. They saved everyone they could reach. Lieutenant Kim worked frantically at her station, trying to help Atlas break through the quantum encryption. Almost got it, she muttered. Just need to reverse the polarity of the quantum matrix. Can you do that? Chun asked. Never tried it before, Kim admitted. But humans are good at doing things they've never done before. With 30 seconds left before star collapse, Kim succeeded. The Omega device shut down just as the star began. To destabilize. Nexus Prime was saved, but the galaxy had changed forever. In the aftermath, representatives from dozens of species gathered on neutral ground to form a new alliance. They called it the Terran Accord, honoring the humans who had saved them from both tyranny and destruction. Admiral Chen addressed the first meeting of the new alliance. We're not here to rule anyone, she said. We're here to explore, to learn, and to grow together. The galaxy is big enough for all of us. Ambassador Zixtal, now serving as a liaison between species, stood up. Admiral Chen, on behalf of all the liberated worlds, I thank you. You showed us that strength is not about having the biggest weapons, it's about having the courage to change, Chun smiled. Humans learned a long time ago that the strongest species isn't the one that wins every fight. It's the one that survives every challenge. Dr. Vasquez approached Chun after the ceremony. Admiral, what's next for humanity? Chun looked out at the stars visible through the station's viewports. What we've always done, Elena, we explore. We learn, we adapt. And we make sure nobody ever again thinks that primitive means helpless. The galaxy was no longer ruled by a single government. Instead, hundreds of species worked together, sharing knowledge and resources while maintaining their independence. It was messy sometimes. There were arguments and conflicts, but there was also growth, innovation, and hope. High Priest Zinakala was tried for attempting genocide and sentenced to exile on a remote world. Some of the old council species struggled to adapt to freedom, but most embraced the change, rediscovering the joy of exploration and discovery. Years later, when young aliens asked how humans had defeated the mighty Galactic Council, the answer was always the same. Humans had not won through superior technology or overwhelming force. They had won by refusing to accept that any problem was unsolvable. The galaxy had learned that Earth's military power was not in their weapons. It was in their willingness to think differently, fight dirty, and never give up. They had shown the universe that sometimes the best defense is a good offense, and the best offense is thinking like a human. Admiral Chin retired to a quiet world where she could see Earth's sun in the night sky. But her legacy lived on in the Terran Accord, where species that had once been enemies worked together to explore the infinite possibilities of the galaxy. The Council had been right about one thing. Humanity was primitive compared to other species. But they had been wrong about what that meant. Being primitive didn't make humans weak, it made them hungry. And hungry people will always find a way to survive.